what the paper is all about, the respondents, the sampling design, and even the general findings or the general results of the study. And then kung makikita niyo po rito, ayan, so nilagay din po nila yung inulit nila yung mga authors, and then there's the introduction, ayan. Mamaya po magbibigay pa po ako ng isa pang example. Tapos ito, meron silang literature review pa. Now, yung kung mapapansin niyo po dun sa IMRAD format natin, hindi na po ako nagpalagay ng literature review kasi sabi ko embedded na naman yung literature review sa introduction, sa methodology at saka results and discussion. So what I'm trying to say is, in the process of you writing down your introduction, methodology, results and discussion, pumapasok pa rin po ang literature review. Pero dito, ginawa nilang hiwalay yung literature review, wala naman pong problema. So probably this is the format of this particular publication or journal, scholarly journal. And then ito yung kanilang third part, materials and methods, no. So kung mapapansin niyo po, sabi nila, the most recent open access data set that addresses the issue of discrimination is the 10th wave of the European Social Survey carried out in 2021 on nationally representative samples of a total size of 59,685 respondents, no. So ibig sabihin, dati may nakita na silang research, ang ginamit na number of respondents ay 59,685. Ang dami po nun ano. However, for this particular analysis, the subsample of respondents aged 65 and above was selected. So the selection led to a sample size of 15,340 people from the following countries: Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Switzerland, etc. No? So yun po yung sinasabi natin na importansya ng sample size, no? So from the total population, you cannot get everybody, so you'll just have to get a portion of that total population, which will become your sample and eventually your sample size. No? And then, what else? Ito pa yung laman nila. So they have the results. So ano pong napapansin niyo? Parang maiksi lang, ano? So they have the results and discussion. Pero sa atin po, magkasama na ang results and discussion. And then po, ano pa po yung isa pang content nila? So they also have conclusions, limitations and directions for further research. And then pinakita rin po nila yung ito, author contributions, kung ano-ano po yung ginawa ng bawat isang author doon sa pagbuo ng research, no? May kanya-kanya po silang toka. Pero sa atin, obvious po pagtutulong-tulungan niya lahat ng parts, no? And then data availability statement, kung saan makikita yung kanilang data at saka yung kanilang study. Context of interest, wala naman daw po. Disclaimer and publisher's notes. And very important po yung references nila. So kung mapapansin ninyo, halos kaparehas po nung diniscuss ko sa inyo na format yung nakalagay po na format dito, no? So depende po kasi kung books or scholarly articles din po ang ginamit nila. So you will know naman kung books or scholarly articles ang ginamit, no? So ito po yung itsura ng magiging output po ninyo, no? So anyways, so I hope that you will be able to register with the library so that you will be able to have full access to this Gale online resource. No? So yan po. So again, pipindutin nyo lang po Arellano University, Arellano Library, and then go to Gale e-resources, and then enter the password exclusive. Again, may bago pagdaanan yun, meron kayong isang proseso, yung kailangan ipasok ninyo yung number nyo sa barcode ng ID ninyo. For that, again, try to visit Arellano University Library sa main campus, and the librarians will be more than happy to assist you. No? And then, sa kanyo magagamit yung mga laman, no? Gale, what you call this, Gale resources natin or online journals. So, let me stop presenting this one. Wait lang po, Ayan. All right. So, let me, what you call this, proceed to the other what you call this, agenda pa po na natitira para sa klase natin, no? So, naituro ko na yung Gale. Ngayon, ano po yung ine-expect ko from you na output ninyo for business research? So, let me just open another file. So this is the format. Kita na po ba? Is it already visible on your end? A
Yes
thumbs up.
po. Yes po.
Yes po.
All right. So this is the output that I am expecting you to come up with, no? At the end. All right. So kung makita nyo po, ito po yung magiging format natin. So you have to place here the title. So the title, again, sabi natin sa lesson natin, should not be more than 15 substantive words and must contain the keywords. And then, so ang title natin, naka-all caps po yan. Yan. And then, the names of the researchers and your affiliations. Ano po ibig sabihin ng affiliations? Kung saan po kayo connected. So you can enumerate no, the name of the, or you can identify the name of the names of the respective companies that you belong to. No? Ituturo ko pa rin po sa inyo sa workshop natin kung paano natin aayusin yung affiliation kasi lalagyan natin ng numbers yun. And then, obviously, you also have to prepare an abstract. No? So, the abstract is something that you cannot prepare ngayon. Ginagawa po ang abstract sa kaduluhan. Bakit? Kasi ano bang contents ng abstract natin? So, the abstract should be composed of one paragraph, of not more than 300 words but not less than 200 words with the following brief contents. Ano po yung contents daw ng abstract? An opening sentence to identify the general research problem, purpose, or objective. Another sentence to describe the participants and the respondents or the respondents. A sentence to describe the research method and design. 2 to 3 sentences to give the general summary from the specific findings, and a sentence to conclude from the general finding. 1 to 2 sentences also to state the key recommendations based on the general findings and conclusions. No? So, yun po ang laman ng abstract. So, obviously po, hindi natin to magagawa agad-agad. Aantayin natin muna na matapos yung paper natin before we can actually write or prepare our abstract. No? Now, what are the next set of things that you have to do? Kailangan po nating i-identify yung keywords natin. So, identify at least 3 keywords. Na ituro ko na po sa inyo kung paano mag-identify ng keywords. So, para saan po ba yung keywords natin? So, the keywords are those words na pwede pong kapag sinearch po ng mga ibang researchers, kasama po yung paper ninyo sa maibibigay ng system. No? Halimbawa, artificial intelligence, that's part of your keywords. No? So kapag sinearch yung artificial intelligence, isa po yung papel ninyo sa ilalabas ng system. O halimbawa, sustainability, that's your keyword, isa po yung papel nyo sa ilalabas kapag ka nag-search yung mga researchers ng salitang sustainability. No? So kailangan po mag-identify po tayo ng keywords. Now, what do you notice? In the presentation of the abstract, naka-italicize po yung ating paragraph. And when we present our keywords, naka-italicize din po ang keywords natin. No? So, tatandaan po natin yan. And then, our abstract and keywords are presented in a one-column format. Pero, pagdating po ng introduction hanggang sa kaduluduluhan po, kung mapapansin nyo po, naka two-column format na po tayo. Alright, now let's look at the introduction. So again, IMRAD po tayo. Now the introduction, sabi dyan, must begin with 2 paragraphs that clearly reflect the rationale of the study. So what triggered or prompted you to conduct this study? So by the way po pala, itong IMRAD format natin, prepare po ito ng Director for Research and Publications Department ng Arellano University. Kasama po yung isa pong program chair ng isang kolehiyo dito sa Arellano. So sila po yung nag-ayos nito. Although ako, meron po akong konting ni-revise to suit the needs of the ETIAP students po and to suit the limitations that we have in terms of time and in terms of time. No? So ito po yung laman ng introduction, ulitin ko. The introduction must begin with 2 paragraphs that clearly reflect the rationale of the study, what triggered or prompted you to conduct this study. So this rationale must be taken from the blind spots and blank spots that you will establish in your theoretical review, leading to the formulation of the theoretical framework and practical review leading to the conceptual framework. So you have to state the gaps in theory or in concept first and then the gaps in practice to establish the context of the research. So contextual research, literature search po ang gagawin natin dito. Ano po? So kailangan po, what do you call this, mai-establish natin. Bakit ba natin ginagawa tong research na to? Anong nag-motivate sa atin to do this research? And what are the specific literature gaps, no? Blind spots or blank spots that we will be able to address when we do this research, no? And then, another thing po that we have to remember, One paragraph must justify the gaps in theory and in practice by logically relating these identified gaps to at least 3 to 5 theoretical reviews and another 3 to 5 practical reviews. Then, clearly show how these 6 to 10 researchers or authors' frameworks or issues or discourses logically fortify or relate to your study, specifically with the identified gaps as the key concepts or keywords. Again, ulitin ko po, dito po pumapasok yung importansya ng literature review because when you do your literature review, you are enlightened. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng mga authors? Ano ba yung sinasabi nila tungkol sa particular na topic na to? At ano yung mga hindi nila sinasabi? No? So yung mga sinasabi nila, it will lead you to your theoretical review and eventually to your conceptual review, di ba? Kasi makikita natin how specific variables relate to one another, how they are associated with one another, no? Makikita natin yun kasi na-establish na yun somehow ng mga previous researchers at saka ng mga authors ng mga previous studies, no? So that's the importance of your literature review. You will be able to build your context, you will be able to build your theoretical framework, and eventually, you will be able to build your conceptual framework because you were able to do your RRL or your literature review. All right? Now, from the gaps, dahil nag-literature review ka, makikita mo ano yung gaps, ano yung literature gap, ano yung blind spots. Ano yung gagawin mo ng kasunod, no? So your gaps, the literature gaps that you were able to identify will now justify your paper, will now justify the existence of your paper. It will also justify the importance of your paper. Bakit ba kailangan pag-aralan to? Simply because wala pang nag-aaral. This has been overlooked. Wala pang nagpo-focus sa study na to, kaya nagdesisyon akong pag-aralan. At dahil wala pa nagpo-focus sa study nito, ito yung mga gusto kong pag-aralan. No? So from the gaps and identified context, you can now formulate the statement of the problem. So pag-usapan na po natin to para sa both sections, no? Sections 2 and 3. So the statement of the problem must start with a very short sentence that states the general research objective or purpose. Tatandaan po natin, the statement of the problem must be expressed in declarative form. Again, declarative form po siya. Hindi po siya naka-question form, declarative form. So pag na-express na natin yung statement of the problem natin, we will now be proceeding with the sub-problems. No? So the SOP or the statement of the problem is followed by the enumeration of specific research problems. So baka po may nagtatanong, ilan bang sub-problems ang kailangan? It depends. It depends on your statement of the problem. Kasi tatandaan po natin, yung SOP po natin, that will define the types of sub-problems that we will develop, no? Kasi sabi nga natin, ang sub-problems natin, itong mga sub-problems na yan, will lead us, when, if we will be able to collect the answers to our sub-problems, it will lead to what? Us being able to answer our statement of the problem, no? So again, walang prescribed na number ng sub-problems, okay? So ito po, dineretso ko na. So kunwari, you were able to develop 3 sub-problems, that's okay. If you will be able to develop 4, 5, 7, okay lang ho yun. Basta naka-align sa statement of the problem. Anyways, checkan ko naman po yan. Now, letter C, merong hypothesis na portion. No? Kailan ba nagkakaroon ng hypothesis? Simplihan ho natin, nagkakaroon ho ng hypothesis kapag ka ang study nyo ay correlational, nagkakaroon ho ng hypothesis kapag ang study nyo ay comparative, ayan. Nagkakaroon ho ng hypothesis kapag ka gusto nyong makita yung difference, no? So, dun lang po yung mga pagkakataon na meron tayong hypothesis. Ano po ba yung ibig sabihin ng hypothesis? A hypothesis is a proposition that you make. Halimbawa po, kunwari, ang topic natin ay a correlational study between the academic performance and the OJT performance of the students of the School of Business Administration. So, in that particular case, correlational po ang study natin. Now, ano yung hypothesis na pwede nating buuin? So, pwede kong sabihin that there is a relationship between the academic performance and the OJT performance of the students of the School of Business Administration. So I am proposing, no, through my hypothesis, I am proposing that there is a relationship between these two different variables. Again, academic performance and the OJT performance of the students. Now, dahil sinabi ko na there is what they call this, there is a relationship, no? So, ang tawag natin doon ay hypothesis. Now, meron pa tayong isang tinatawag na hypothesis, yung tinatawag nating null hypothesis. Ano yung null hypothesis? Pag sinabi nating null hypothesis, it is a hypothesis that is expressed in the negative. Paano yung expressed in the negative? So, halimbawa, sinabi ko, there is no relationship between academic performance and the OJT performance of the students of the School of Business Administration. So kasi sabi ko, there is no relationship. So that is referred to as what? Your null hypothesis. Paano po ini-spell ang null hypothesis? It's N-U-L-L, no? Null hypothesis. So ang tawag po natin doon ay again null hypothesis. Yung una ko pong sinabi kanina, there is a relationship between we call this academic performance and OJT performance. Ang tawag natin doon is the alternative hypothesis. Alright? So titingnan po natin, kapag ka ang question natin ay difference, ang question natin ay relationship or association, dun lang po tayo magkakaroon ng hypothesis. Naiintindihan po ba? Obviously po, kapag ka descriptive research, wala pong hypothesis. Alright? Now, dahil may hypothesis po, kailangan ho natin gawan to ng statistical treatment. Merong iba't ibang statistical treatment. Again, the statistical treatments will depend on the nature of your paper, and that will be discussed during the workshop. So you have to be there during the workshop, no? Now, let's move on. So one or two hypotheses, 'di ba? Will be required, no? Now, let's move on to your theoretical framework. No? Ano naman yung theoretical framework? So sabi nga natin dito, this section clarifies the theories, concepts, frameworks, models, and principles that provide a foundation for the research. It will help to contextualize the research and demonstrate its relevance to existing knowledge. Alright. So, papaliwanag nyo lang ano yung theory na napili ninyo. No? So, again, marami pa po kayong oras para makapag-isip ng topic and eventually makapag-contextual literature review at makapamili kayo ng mga theories, no, na pwede nyong gamitin for your paper. So, paano ba binubuo ang theoretical framework? Choose a theory, state what the theory is all about, and explain the theory and how it is relevant or related to the topic that you are engaging in or to the topic that you are going to research on, no? So, ganun lang po yung theoretical framework. Now, let's move on to letter E. What's letter E? This is the fifth content of your, of your introduction. So, the conceptual framework. So, this section determines and explains the variables, the relationships, and the processes that the researcher intends to explore in the study. So, di ba kanina napag-usapan po natin, and even the section 2 students last time, we were able to talk about independent variable, dependent variable, moderating, and mediating variables. No? So, dito po lalabas yung what we call this, yung mga variables na to. So, I was able to pick up a very simple example lang po. So, ito po yung itsura ng kanyang what they call this ng kanyang conceptual framework, no? So it looks into the following variables, no? Or it looked into the following variables. So work, rewards, environment, and profession. And you can tell, no, from the way the arrows are, what they call this, the arrows are pointed to the other boxes, you can tell that they are trying to say that these four things can affect teacher motivation, and teacher motivation are further contextualized through the factors of attraction, retention, loyalty, teaching, facilitating, and assessing, and the endpoint would be learner performance. No? So makikita natin na parang ang gustong sabihin ng research na to, there are factors that affect the teacher's motivation, and the teacher's motivation affects the learning performance of the students. No? So dapat ganito po yung mabuo natin na conceptual framework. Even without the benefit of the title, more or less maiintindihan mo kung ano yung tinatakbo ng study nila. So yun po yung kagandahan ng maayos na conceptual framework. Without the benefit of the title, you will understand. Yun pala yung gusto nilang malaman at yun yung endpoint nila. No? Alright, so let's move on to the next one. So that's the first part, no, the introduction. Again, the contents of the introduction, your rationale, statement of the problem, sub-problems, hypotheses, theoretical framework, and conceptual framework. Now let's move on to your methodology. No? So methodology is a one paragraph, what they call this section. Sorry, in the methodology rather, a one paragraph must be provided to again explain the to the readers the contents of the section methodology. So konting introduction. So you can say this section contains the research design, sample size and sampling design, research instruments, statistical treatment of data, research and data collection procedure, and the ethical considerations uh, that were factored in to this research. No? So yun po yung sinasabi ko rito na laman ng method ng introduction for methodology. So what are the specifics of the methodology? So again, we have letter A, research design. So 1 to 2 paragraphs explaining the rationale of the research design, which justifies the use of a certain quantitative research design in relation to your research objectives and SOPs, which you have stipulated in your introduction. So again, in your research design, you have to tell us, is it a correlational research? Is it a descriptive research? Is it a comparative research? Is it an experimental research? And so on and so forth. No? And then you have to justify why did you choose that particular research design and why does that suit the needs or the objectives of your study. No? So, syempre, in the process also, nasabi ko na ba na you have to define, and when you define, you identify the sources of the definition. And then letter B, sample size and sampling design. So one paragraph to explain and justify the sample. Again, pag sinabi po nating sample, this refers to the people, no, the respondents. Sino ba yung respondents natin? And when you talk about the sample size, it refers to the number of respondents that you were able to compute for the using the Sloven's formula. But then again, ulitin ko po, kagaya ng na-discuss ko kanina, the Sloven's formula is only applicable for random sampling method, no? And the sampling design utilized for the study. So, ano ba to? What they call this? Simple random ba to? Stratified sampling, purposive sampling, convenient sampling. So, doon niyo po sasabihin yun kung ano yung sampling design na ginamit natin. No? By the way, for the section 2 students, hindi ko na-discuss sa inyo yun nung nakaraan yung Sloven's formula. Kaya mamaya po magpapaiwan po kayo ng konti. Di-discuss ko lang po, papakita ko lang yung computation. So, less than 5 minutes, simple lang naman po. Kasama po sa exam. All right now. So let's proceed to letter C, research instrument, no? So what is the research instrument? So 1 or 2 paragraphs for the discussion of construction and validation stages of the data gathering tools. So in the construction stage of your tool, you have to reflect that you will undergo the following processes. Number one, decide which type of research tool you will have to prepare according to the mandates of the SOPs. No? So again, in your case, I'm pretty sure that you are going to use the survey questionnaire. No? So yun na yung decision natin. Ano? Number two, see to it that the main components and all specific indicators or items in your research tool are theoretically or conceptually anchored as well as SOP directed. So kung maalala nyo po sinabi ko, lahat po ng sub-problems natin should be reflected in your survey questionnaire. Otherwise po, kapag may kulang, hindi po natin maitatanong at hindi natin makukuha lahat ng gusto nating makuhang sagot. Therefore, to be guided and directed, you have to go back to your SOPs and sub-problems. No? Now, so that's your construction stage. Now, what about the validation stage? So you have to reflect that you will undergo the following processes for your validation. Number one, try out the survey questionnaire to a small group of participants or respondents to reveal its space and content validity. So this requires written permission letter to the head of the target participants. Number two, subject it to statistical procedure to reveal its internal consistency. So, paano ba tong validation na to? So, sa regular program, ang pinapagawa ko po, pumupunta yan sa 3 experts. Faculty expert, research expert, at saka industry expert. Pero sa inyo po, wala na po tayong time para magpa-validate tayo sa ganong 3 experts pa. So ang gagawin na lang po natin, yung survey questionnaire natin, ita-try lang natin to at least 10 respondents muna to check yung tinatawag nating face and content validity, kung valid and reliable yung questionnaire natin. Nalalaman nating valid and reliable kung pare-parehas po ng intindi yung respondents sa mga tanong natin at saka kung yung survey natin ay yun at yun yung resultang naibibigay, meaning to say consistent siya, no? So another way also to test the reliability of the validity of your survey questionnaire is to subject it to Cronbach Alpha, no, to reveal the internal consistency of the items in your questionnaire, no. So para po sa Cronbach Alpha, magbibigay na lang po ako ng lesson, probably a tutorial on how to compute for the Cronbach Alpha so that you can immediately proceed with the actual distribution of your survey questionnaires. Now, sa Cronbach Alpha, paano po natin masasabi na pasok ang survey questionnaire natin, valid? Makikita po ninyo yon at the end, may computation, dapat ang Cronbach Alpha score ninyo should be 90%. Anything less than 90%, 90 anything less than 90% is considered to be not valid, no? So, hindi po consistent internally yung mga statements sa survey questionnaire natin. So, again, I'm going to provide na lang po a tutorial on how to compute for the Cronbach Alpha. And then, ano po nakasunod dito? Ah, okay, may naligaw tong part na 'to. Okay, so ang kasunod po nito, incorporate the tryout and internal consistency results to revise the research tool if necessary, kung mas mababa po sa 90%, and subject it to review by 3 content experts. So ito hindi na po natin gagawin kasi wala naman po kayo masyadong time. And then let's proceed to letter D, statistical treatment of data. So one paragraph to state, discuss, and justify the statistical treatment or treatments that will address the sub-problems. So sometimes po, there are sub-problems na ang kailangan lang natin ay mean rating, no? However, there are sub-problems specifically for your hypothesis, no? Because in your hypothesis, you will test relationships, you will test differences, or you will compare, no? So, pwedeng t-test, pwedeng chi-square, pwedeng Pearson R, puwedeng ANOVA, MANOVA. So itong mga sinasabi ko po mapapagdaanan pa po natin 'to. Basta po makinig kayo kay Mrs. Sabines for the mean rating, standard deviation, and for the variance. Medyo nakuha niya na po yung kalahati kapag nakinig kayo sa kanya 'no. And then moving on, research and data collection procedure 'no. So paano naman po 'tong research and data collection procedure? So one paragraph to discuss how data the relevant or information were obtained. So I have added here that you need to provide a Gantt chart to depict the procedures. So ito po yung itsura ng Gantt chart. No? So these are the research activities and these are the, what we call this, the days or the months or the weeks na kailangan yung i-allocate for every aspect of the research process. And then letter F would be the ethical consideration. So one paragraph that explains the measures undertaken to acknowledge and cite authors and protect the interests of the respondents. Ito po yung binanggit ko na sa inyo kanina. No? And then, next part po, results and discussions. All right. Dito to. Sandali lang po. Nagkakamali sa ano. Sige po, ako na lang po magpapaliwanag. Wait lang po. So let's move on to results and discussion. So start with one paragraph that generally introduces the contents of this section. So be sure to organize your tabular presentation and discussion following strictly the sequence of your SOPs and sub-problems. Flesh out the answer to your key questions by presenting data through tables, graphs, and statistics as evidence. Again, in this case, another adjustment that I have made, hindi na po tayo magpapakita ng graphs. Kabawasan po yun sa gagawin ninyo. Ang papakita nyo lang po sa akin for the results and discussions would be tables plus your explanation and analysis. Okay? So, discussion should be logically connected to the theoretical and conceptual frameworks, SOPs, as well as the hypotheses if there are. So, look for specific patterns from the computed data and state them as specific findings. Put together all specific patterns or findings into a general finding. No? So, dapat may general finding. And number 4, conclusions. So, paano po ba ginagawa yung conclusions? Balikan nyo lang ho yung sub-problems ninyo. So, ano ho yung nalaman ninyo? Ay, sorry. Balikan yung SOP natin or yung statement of the problem. What did you find out? So, halimbawa dun sa, what they call this, sa topic na binigay ko sa inyong example kanina, yung motivation of employees. So, nakita ninyo that you can probably say, the researchers therefore conclude that all 5 factors are important to the are important to the motivation or are important motivators, no, for the employees of company XYZ. So ganun lang, yun lang. Gusto mo lang sabihin ko ano yung pinaka-conclusion, no? So sagutin mo lang yung statement of the problem mo. All right. And then number 5, references, no? So you have to reflect a total of at least 9 references. So eto pala yon. So 3 for theoretical review. Sorry, iba yung nasabi ko kanina. So 3 for theoretical review, 3 for contextual review, and 3 for methodological review. So again, pag sinabi po nating methodological review, ito yung review natin for our method section. No? Look at the research design, look at the sample size and sampling procedure, the research instrument, no, of the other researchers. Yun po yung methodological review. And observe the 5-year rule, no. Now, theoretical review, obviously, ito po yung makakatulong naman sa inyo to conduct, to determine the theories, no, and contextual review, of course, to establish the context of your paper, no. Although, while doing the contextual review, pwede na rin nagto-theoretical review na rin kayo sabay na. And then the last one, bio notes with actual pictures that are not enhanced by AI. Dati kasi may nag-submit, pag tiningnan mo, hindi nakamukha ng tao yung picture niya. So actual na picture na lang ho yun para ho magkakakilanlan pa po tayo, no, ng mga researchers, no. So again, it's very important that we are going to preserve the integrity of your paper. So actual pictures. All right. So biglang gumanda, biglang naging pogi, mas pumogi o mas gumanda. So actual na picture ho. So, how do we do the bio notes? Again, as I have stated earlier, the bio notes should be written in the third person. So, like say for example, uh, Marilyn de Guzman, Marilyn de Guzman is currently connected with XYZ Banking Corporation and she is assigned in the Trust Services Division. Currently, Marilyn enjoys what they call this mountain hiking, kayaking, and snowboarding, and surfing, no? And moreover, she likes to read during her free time. Ayun. So, ganun lang yung bio notes natin. Simpleng paliwanag lang po tungkol sa inyo. At doon na po nagtatapos ang, what they call this, yung output na hihingin ko po sa inyo. Anyway, so do we have questions? Mr. Bendoy, do you have a question?
Yes, Prof, just clarification regarding the for references. You mentioned 3 theoretical review, 3 contextual review, and 3 methodological review. So this means total of 9 different papers, right?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay. So we hindi siya pwede na tatlo lang, like isang paper kasi isang paper it can have it contains theoretical review, contextual, and methodological, right? So
Mm.
iba-ibang paper siya.
As much as possible, sana iba-ibang papers, no? Kasi para rin dumami naman kahit papaano yung references niyo, maging credible din naman yung output ninyo. So, actually,
Okay.
kagaya nung nasabi ko, well, I understand the context of the question because it's true naman talaga. In one scholarly article, obviously, meron ng results and methodology sa bawat isang scholarly
Yes.
article. But if you will be able to find something that will match, no, and that will justify the utilization of your own planned or proposed research design, then that would be good for your research as well, no? So, pwede pong gumamit pa po ng iba and pwede rin naman mag-stick sa kung ano na yung nakita ninyo na methodological procedure na ginamit ng iba, procedures na ginamit ng ibang authors, no? And as I have said, no, 9, but you can go for at least, I mean, more than 9, you can go beyond 9. So, kung
Okay.
sa tingin niyo kailangan nyo pa ng 20 or 30, go for it, wala pong problema sa akin. Basta ang akin, cite your authors and do the proper bibliographical or referencing entries. All
Okay,
right?
thank you po.
So, questions? Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. Any
One
other
question,
clarifications? Yes.
Ma'am Darwin po. Ma'am,
Mm.
usually po mga ilang week po yung target or timeline po namin dito.
Okay.
And
Ito na po, ipapakita ko na po
ipapareview
yung
po ba
timeline.
namin?
Alin?
Okay po, ma'am. Yung ma'am, ipapa-review po ba namin time to time sa inyo or one-time
Okay.
submission po siya?
Ito po, meron po akong timeline for that. Sige, bago ko pakita yung timeline, Miss Federizo, do you have a question?
Sige ma'am, thank you po.
Sige po, thank you po.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Ma'am, dun po sa validation stage, na-mention niyo po yung 90% it's considered not valid. Ma'am, pwede po bang pa-explain ulit yung
90% is considered valid. Ibig sabihin po kasi nun, there is yung tinatawag natin internal consistency. It's difficult to explain kapag wala po akong example. At saka po, may klase kayo ng alas 11. So, sabi ko nga po, magpo-provide na lang po ako ng tutorial so that you will be able to, really understand kung ano po yung ibig sabihin ng Cronbach Alpha at kung paano siya gagawin. So, pakiabangan na lang po yun, mag-upload na lang po ako ng tutorial for the computation of the Cronbach Alpha. Okay po?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sige po. But thank you for the interest talaga. So let me share with you what they call this, the timetable. No? So, wag po kayong mabibigla sa timetable kasi ang gusto ko po, maunahan ko kayo sa feasibility study. Kasi ang nangyari ho, kapag feasibility study, taken na ho yung buong oras ninyo. So this is the timetable for sections 2 and 3, batch 1. So kayo po yun. Mahiwalay po ang timetable ko for sections 4 and 1 kasi mahuhuli ko silang bigyan ng discussion. So I hope that the timetable is doable for everybody. All right. So what are the different things that you have to do? Now ito na rin po yung ilalagay ninyo dun sa research procedures ninyo. So ito na yung Gantt chart natin. So the first one that you have to do is the contextual literature review, no. So from May 25 to June 2, dapat po nagko-contextual literature review na kayo. Again, bakit natin gagawin yung contextual literature review? By the way, is it already, visible na. So, ginagawa natin yung contextual literature review because you'd like to establish, ano ba yung literature gaps, ano yung blind spots, blank spots, and the angles that you might want to focus on for your research. No? So, that's 9 days contextual literature review. Anyways, hindi naman po kayo mag-isa lang sa grupo. So, 5 po kayo sa groupings, sa bawat group. So I think this is very doable. And then on June 3, you will be submitting the topics to me and I will be approving the topics same day. All right? So 1 day lang po 'yon. Kaya po kung makikita ninyo, pipilitin ko po mag-approve ng mga topics. I think for this particular sections, then sa section section 3, ilang grupo po kayo? Section 3?
6 po.
6. All right. So I have 10 groups yata in section 2 and 6 in 3. So that's 16. So tingin ko naman po kaya ko naman mag-approve ng topic on the same day. All right. And then but provided that you will be sending me the topics in the morning. All right. Para po I have the entire day naman din to approve or to revise the topics and send them to you pabalik sa inyo. And then preparation of introduction, the introduction section of your paper. So that's from June 4 to 15. So you are given 12 days. Again, there are 5 members per group. This is again very, very doable. So pag-uusapan nyo naman kung anong atake ninyo. And then submission of introduction would be on June 16. And then revision of the introduction, kasi hindi nyo man po makukuha ng perfect yan. Meron pa rin po akong inputs na ibibigay sa inyo. So you will be, revising your introduction between these dates, 23 to 30 ng June. So that means to say, bilang teacher nyo, I have June 17 to June 22 to provide you with the revisions, yung comments ko. And then, June 29, submission of the revised introduction. So makikita nyo po, 1 day lang lagi ang submission. Huwag po tayo magdi-deviate sa schedule. Ako rin po, I will try as much as possible to not deviate from the schedule because meron pa kayong feasibility study. Nakikipag-unahan po ako sa FISIB kasi natatabunan po ang MGT 305 kapag nag-start na kayo mag-FISIB. Alright? And then number 6, the 6th step that you have to do, you can do your methodological review, from June 30 to July 6. So of course, dito po sa submission of revised introduction, I am hoping naman po na kapag sinabit nyo sa akin, medyo tama na nun. Baga, wala na ako masyadong i-revise or ipapa-revise sa inyo. And then, so methodological review, June 30 to July 6. And then, preparation of methodology and research instrument, July 7 to 20. So kung mapapansin nyo, you have from June 30 to July 20 to prepare the methodology and the research instrument. And then next one, number 8, July 21, submission of the methodology and research instrument. No? So that's section already. May mali pala ako sa numbering ko. And then 9, revision of methodology and research instrument, 7 days also. So July 28 to August 3. Now let's move on to the next steps. Submission of revised methodology and research instrument, August 4. That's just 1 day. Submission of introduction, methodology, and research instrument in the ERB. What's the ERB? Again, that's the Ethics Review Board of Arellano University. So, isasubmit natin yung intro, methods, methodology section, and research instrument sa ERB by, what we call this, August 9. Okay, so 1 day rin lang po natin gagawin yun. Ang problema po dito, you have to do it personally. You have to go to their office, no? So, siguro pag-usapan nyo na lang po kung sino po sa magkakagrupo ang pupunta sa inyo to submit in the ERB. And then, next part po ng gagawin natin, write shop, no? So, this is the next part, no? So, itong write shop na po na ito, this will be done on August 17. I think this, of course, this is a Sunday. So, in the write shop, anong gagawin natin? Distribution of questionnaire, and then, ibig sabihin, pag pinag-distribute ko na kayo ng question kayo ng ERB. So, distribution of questionnaire, and then preparation and submission of results and discussion. So, di ba kayo rin po ang respondents ng bawat isa. So, dun sa write shop, iaabot nyo yung research instrument niyo sa mga tao dun sa write shop. And then, kukunin nyo rin po sa kanila. So, help each other out. Kukunin nyo sa kanila, i-retrieve ninyo, and then magtatantos kayo, magbibilang kayo, ilan na sumagot ng 4, 3, 2, 1, magko-compute kayo ng mean rating, at ipe-prepare nyo na rin po yung statistical treatment na gagamitin ninyo, and you will do the computations din po. And then, on the same day, dahil meron na po kayong data, na compute nyo na yung mean at whatever it is that you need to compute, magagawa na po tayo ng results and discussion. Gagawin nyo na rin po yung bio notes at papipirmahin ko na rin po kayo ng certificate of originality. So medyo busy po ang ating write shop. Now, para po sa write shop, kasi po medyo limitado yung mga nagtitinda ng pagkain sa paligid ng Arellano kapag linggo, yung iba pong estudyante ang ginagawa, nagbabaon. Wala pong problema, magbaon na lang po kayo. Yung iba naman nagpapadeliver, no? So anyways, the next portion, so isasubmit yung lahat ito sa akin during the write shop. So what do we do next? Revision of results and discussion. So, sasubmit nyo sa akin ng August 17, give me some time because I have to read also. So, August 31 to September 7, magre-revise naman na kayo kung ano man yung nirecommend ko. And then, by August 14, you are going to submit the revised results and discussion. Sorry, September 8 pala. Submission of revised results and discussion. Alright, so again, hoping ako na kapag nagsasubmit kayo ng revise, na-revise nyo talaga. Alright, huwag ipipilit yung mga gusto ninyo. Ano po yung sinabi ko po yung gagawin natin. And then next part, final feedback if there is any. So kung meron pa akong nakitang konting-konting kailangan pang ayusin or major na kailangan ayusin, sasabihin ko po sa inyo on September 30. And then final revisions pa rin po if any from November 17 to 24. And then final submission of 2 hard copies of manuscript, 1 day lang po. Our final submission will be on December 1. Okay po? Do we have questions regarding the timetable? So very specific po yung timetable natin. So do not deviate from the timetable. Yes po, questions, Ms. Federizo.
Ma'am, regarding po sa questionnaire distributions, paano po ma'am kami na OFW, ma'am?
Okay. Teka lang, kung OFW po, di ba po may mga kagrupo naman kayo na nandito sa Pilipinas? So sila na po yung bahala doon na mag-join sa write shop. So yung, kung halimbawa, are you the only one in your group that is, that is based abroad, ma'am?
Ano po ma'am, meron po kami isang group na OFW po. So ano po kami, 5 po. Plus, meron po kami isang member na sa Philippines.
Naku, lugi yung taga-Pilipinas, dapat hindi ganun ang groupings. Dapat at least mas marami yung taga-Pilipinas kaysa taga-abroad. Kung ganun ho, yung mga taga-abroad, papayagan ko ho na mag-Google Form. Papayagan ko ho na mag-Google Form. Pero sasabayan niyo ho yung petsa na nakalagay dito sa timetable natin. Okay po. Again, Google Form, pwede lang po siya sa mga grupo na magkakasama na nasa abroad. Kasi may ganyan kami experience nung nakaraan, nakakaawa yung naiwan kasi siya lang talaga yung humaharap dun sa panelist. Pero maiba ho ako. For feasibility study, you know naman po that you have to be here during the oral defense. Tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am. Apo.
Sige. So, yun lang po. To address that particular concern, Google Form po tayo para lang po dun sa mga grupo na nasa abroad yung 4 o yung karamihan ng miyembro. But the rest, actual paper survey po tayo. Yes, Mr. Bendo, you have
Prof, question regarding submission and approval of topics on June 3. How many topics can we submit?
Okay, good question. You can submit as many as 3 topics lang. Yun na yun. Huwag nang paramihin. All right. So at least 3 topics. So yeah, I think 3 pwede na. Mamimili ako na yung mamimili dun sa 3 topics kung ano. Kasi yeah, sige, okay ang 3 kasi para meron akong gagalawan din in terms kasi baka magkaulit-ulit yung mga topics niyo. So I can make recommendations kung ano yung angulo na saktong pwede niyong tingnan. So that's a good question. So maximum of 3 topics only.
Okay, thank
All right.
you po.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Gonzales. Mr. Batomis.
Mr. po, ma'am. Ay, ma'am,
Mr.
tatanong lang po ako, ma'am. How about yung nasa provinces po, ma'am, like Davao City po? Pareho din po ba doon sa sa abroad? Yung,
Teka lang po. Ilan po kayong nasa probinsya?
sa group namin, man, di ko alam, ma'am. Ako lang yung Davao City po, ma'am, eh.
Okay. So the other group mates naman po can do the actual distribution of the survey questionnaires. So tulungan nyo na lang po sila in terms of the preparation of the questionnaire. Pero in distribution, sila na po yun.
Okay po, ma'am. Sige po, ma'am. Sige po.
Alright. Thank you po. Yes, any other questions regarding the timetable? May tanong pa po? Wala na. So again, as much as possible, let's not try to debate. Let's stick to the schedule, no? So that we will be able to satisfactorily finish the thesis. Kasi parang nakalagay sa timetable nyo, clearance nyo December, tama ba? Batch 1 students. So dapat matapos natin. At saka I understand kasi na talagang medyo mahihirapan at may pressure kayo sa feasibility study ninyo. So kasi syempre may revisions. At saka sa FISIB kasi, 3 kausap nyo dyan. Yung advisor ninyo, tsaka yung 2 panelists ninyo, 'di ba? So, I understand na mas magte-take ng oras 'yun, pero hindi rin naman ako papayag na tatabunan yung research, no. So, pipilitin po talaga natin gawin. So, time management po talaga. Wala tayong magagawa. We only have 1 year talaga to finish the program. Can we have a copy of timetable, ma'am? Yeah. Opo, i-upload ko po tong copy ng timetable kasi ito na rin po yung gagamitin ninyo for the methodology section of your paper. Doon po sa subsection na research and data collection procedures. So, i-upload ko po ito. Ayun.
Ma'am, pati po yung mga PowerPoint.
Yes.
Na?
Opo, i-upload ko rin po ito.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
To upload that.
Ma'am, also yung content requirements.
What do you mean content requirements? Okay, yung isang diniscuss ko kanina.
Yes, ma'am.
Isasama ko po yun.
Thank
Sure
you
po,
so much, ma'am.
Alright, sige
Yes,
po.
ma'am.
Any other questions? Yes.
Ma'am, pag may concern po kami, ma'am, can we contact you, chat, or call? Ganyan.
Okay. In terms of contacting me, you can call na lang po the office. I don't give out my
Yes, ma'am. I understand po. So, kay Ma'am Reagan na lang po or kay Ma'am Merge po.
Ayun. Nasasabi naman po nila sa akin agad kung ano yung mga concerns ng mga estudyante. So, nasasagot ko naman po sa kanila. So, ito po yung number namin sa opisina. So, it's 8734-7371, local 218. So, if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can call this number.
Okay. Yun naman pala meron po.
Sa email po kasi, hindi ako masyadong tumitingin sa email, kaya po napapanis ang email sa akin. So, it's better po that if you want to contact me, course your questions or concerns through Marge or through Sheen. Now, may isa pa po akong bagay na gustong sabihin regarding the submission. Kung mapapansin nyo po, if you will check your calendars, the submissions are always done on a Monday. Alright. So, excuse me. Now, it's your choice. You can ask one group member to drop by the office and submit your output to me on that day, or you can probably use a courier to what they call this, to submit, no, to send or forward your document to me, your manuscript. So nasa sa inyo po 'yon. Palala-move ninyo, walang problema, or may magdadala, wala rin pong problema. Basta po ako ay tuwing Lunes hanggang 4:00 lamang po ako sa opisina, no. Because bakit 4:00? Kasi may klase po ako ng gabi. So pwede ko lang po siyang tanggapin hanggang 4 PM. Alright, so yun po. Klaro na po ba 'to? Questions? Do we have any other questions or concerns? Wala na? Alright. So sige po.
Ma'am, last na lang po pala. Ma'am, yung
Okay po.
magiging thesis po namin is ganito rin po ba yung format?
Alin pong thesis? Opo, ito po yun. Thesis po natin to.
Ay,
IMRAD
ganun po
format
yun.
thesis natin. Yes, sir. Ito na po yun. Okay, ito na po yung, di ba po yung sinabi ko po kanina na hindi na po tayo long form thesis. IMRAD format na po tayo para sa thesis ng ETF students.
Okay, ma'am. Pero wala na po
Meron
Ano po?
yung defense po ganyan. Wala na po yun, ma'am.
Hindi po, ganito po. Yun nga po, sa MGT 401, may defense. Sa MGT 305, walang defense. Ang subject ko po ay MGT 305. Ako lang po ang magbabasa. Pero wag po ninyong isipin na porket isang tao lang magbabasa, hindi ko nababasahin. Nagbabasa ho ako. Masipag ho akong magbasa. Okay? So yun lang po. MGT 401, PC ang may defense. Sige po. Miss Nolasco, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po. Ma'am, since we have access po sa library, so pwede po yun as maging reference namin since may AI ano po doon available.
Ganito po, yung sa library po, para ma-access nyo po yung pinakita ko scholarly articles sa kanina, I think you have to visit the library para po magpa-register kayo dun sa kanilang, yung sa barcode po ninyo. Only then will you be able to access the scholarly articles. Saka po, hindi po siya AI. Ano po siya? Tawag nito talagang collection po ng mga online sources po natin na subscribe po yung Arellano University. So, kung makakapunta rin po kayo ng library, it's best if you will be able to check out the books kasi lagi pong bumibili ng libro ang Arellano. So, sayang naman po kung hindi natin nagagamit.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Thank you po. Any other concerns? Meron pa po ba? So, as promised, I will be uploading what they call this, the things that I have discussed, plus the other documents today. Yes, any questions?
Yes, ma'am. If ever po mag-come up na kami with 3 possible topics, can we pass it parang ahead of time before June 3 po?
No. Let's stick with the schedule because I'm also a little bit busy. Like, say, for example, there are days din na wala ako sa EU main, nasa EU branches din ako. So, may iba akong ginagawa para doon. So, let's stick with the schedule. Kung ano na lang. And you know, it's better din po na wag kayo mauna sa schedule so that you will be able to maximize on the time allotted for you to do whatever it is that you need to do for that particular part of the timetable. So, wag na po mauna. Sakto lang po tayo kasi malilito rin po ako eh. So, 16 groups plus I have another 2 sections coming up, no? So, medyo ayoko pong malito rin. Tsaka hindi ako madidelay sa inyo. Yun lang po.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you. Yes, Miss Gubatan. Okay. Sige po. I will be creating, may tawag ako doon eh. Merong sa Google, I will be creating groups doon sa loob and then that's where you can submit what we call this, the topics. So, hindi pa po ako nag-create kasi June 3 pa naman ng submission. But you will be informed via GC ninyo kung saan nyo po isasubmit sa akin yung inyong output. Okay? But the rest, no, only the topic submission, but the rest of the outputs will be submitted ng may hard copy. Alright? Sige po. So, any other concerns? May tanong pa po ba? Yes, Miss Arcilia.
Hello, ma'am. Regarding po dun sa library, is it possible po ba na one student lang po yung mag-access and then if ever po na meron na siya, all of us can access na rin the library?
I don't think so kasi ang ginagawa po nila ay nire-register po talaga yung mga ninyo, student number at saka yung barcode number po. And yun. Mas mainam na po na na kanya-kanya kayo.
Okay, ma'am.
Alam ko yun na gawin na isang tao na lang siya na but it will be better din po if you will be able to research on your at the time of your convenience, no. Although alam ko ma-share na sa inyo yung password and everything else, the access, pero it's more ethical if you will do it nang mag-access kayo on your own.
Yung file po pwede siyang i-download.
Ha?
Yung file po pwede siyang i-download nun, ma'am.
Alin pong file? Which
Yung
file are we talking about, sir?
Library, ma'am, sa library. PDF file
downloadable yung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina? Yes, yeah, you can download them. You can po.
Sige po.
Yes po, you can download them.
So, ma'am, thank you very much po.
Okay, thank you. So, the section 3 students, no, if you do not have any concerns, you may leave the meeting room. I have already tracked your attendance. And the section 2 students kindly remain. Yung section 3, pwede na pong lumabas, magpahinga at makapag-lunch. Section 2 students, please remain inside the meeting room. Yes, Marjorie.
Bye, Prof. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Double check ko lang po kung na-track po yung attendance ko kasi medyo late po ako naka-in kanina, ma'am. Sorry.
Tingnan ko na lang po dun sa tracking ko.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Joseph Navarro po, present.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Me too, ma'am.
Alright, so section 2
Hello,
students,
ma'am.
please may leave.
Hello po.
Yes.
Madam, same case din po sa akin. I'm not sure po kung narinig niyo yung pag-ano ko kanina ng present. So just in case po. Antolin po.
Antolin. Oo, narinig ko. Ikaw una-una kong tinawag, ma'am, di ba?
Hello, ma'am.
Anyway, thank you po.
Hello po. Ako din po. Edeline Marin po.
Bakit po late?
Ma'am, nasa biyahe po kasi ako kanina.
Marin?
Yes po.
Ma'am, hindi naman po ako nag-attendance sa section 2 pa. Section 2 po kayo?
Thank you po.
Opo. Stay po muna yung section 2 sa loob. Section 2 na lang ba yung nandito? Alright, sige.
Section 3 po ako.
Section 3, you may leave na po. You may leave section 3.
Oh, okay.
Again, section 3 students, you may now leave the meeting room. Alright, so section 2 students na lang ba yung nandito? Wait lang po, sa section 2 students, kaya ko po kayo pinaiwan kasi po ako ay may i-discuss sa inyo. Alright, wait lang. Dali lang po i-share ko lang. Ayan, nakikita na po ba ng section 2 students?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes po, ma'am. Thank you. Sige po. Hindi ko po kasi hindi ko na-discuss nung nakaraan, kasama po sa exam ninyo. So, yung Sloven's formula po, kagaya po nung narinig ko narinig nyo na siguro kanina, the Sloven's formula is only used for descriptive research, no? Not descriptive research, for, what you call this, for
Correlational po.
for simple random sampling, I mean. So, hindi siya ginagamit for correlation, hindi siya ginagamit for purposive, hindi siya ginagamit for, for the other, sampling methods, no? Only for simple random sampling method. Now, paano ba yung Sloven's formula? Tsaka bakit ba natin siya ginagamit? The Sloven's formula is actually used if the population is too big, no? Like say for example, di ba yung sabi natin, yung sample natin, this refers to the respondents, and the sample size, this refers to the number of respondents that are included in our study, and the sampling design, this refers to the manner in which we choose our respondents. Now, yung sample size, paano ba natin kinukuha? At saka bakit natin siya kinukuha? Balikan ko po yung sinabi ko kanina na minsan ang dami ng respondents. Halimbawa, 5,000. Hindi naman po doable yung 5,000. Tama po ba ako? Hindi nyo naman makukuhang respondents lahat ng 5,000. So what do? Kumukuha lang po tayo ng portion or percentage ng 500, ng 5,000, at yun na yung gagamitin nating respondents, number ng respondents. So that will become our sample size. So to further explain, I'll give you an example. So halimbawa, ang total population na pwede nyong gamitin as respondents is 5,000. Kaya lang, sobrang laki. So what do? We have to use the Sloven's formula, and it is as follows. No? N is equals to N, malaking N, over, open and close parenthesis, 1 plus N times the margin of error squared. No? So paano po yun? So if we're going to substitute the value in the formula, so yung malaking N, that's our 5,000, that's our population. All over 1, if you'll notice po, 1 is constant, that's part of the formula, plus 5,000. Saan po nakuha yung 5,000? Doon pa rin po sa N natin. No? So, plus 5,000 times 0.05. Saan po natin nakuha yung 0.05? 0.05 is, it refers to the 5% margin of error that is considered to be acceptable to us. No? So, this is already standard na po. So, 5% is the margin of error. So, to convert 5%, move 2 decimal places to the left. So, you will be left with 0.05. Now, the thing is, we have to i-square po natin yung 0.05 na ito. So, ang sagot po dyan is 0.0025. No? So, if you will be continuing with the computation, so 5,000 all over 1 plus 5,000 times 0.0025, that will lead you to the next part. So, 5,000 over 1 plus 12.5. Saan ko po nakuha yung 12.5? So, 5,000 times 0.0025, that's gonna give you 12.5. No? So, sulat po natin 12.5. And then, proceed with the computation. So, 5,000 divided by 13.5. Now, how did I get 13.5? So, 1 plus 12.5, obviously, that's gonna give you 13.5. So, proceed. Alright, so 5,000 divided by 13.5, ang sagot po dyan is 370.37. Kaya lang po, tao po ang pinag-uusapan natin. So, whole numbers po tayo, no? Hindi naman po pwedeng 0.37 na tao, no? So, it's, dahil less than 5 po ito, ira-round off na lang po natin. Ang ending po natin, our sample size is 370. Kuha po ba natin? Naintindihan po? So, kapag pinag-compute ko po kayo sa exam, what is the sample size given this particular population? This is the formula that you will have to, that you will have to compute for. So, ganito po yan, may tanong si Mr. Bendoy. So, instead of the confidence level, you'll have to compute for the margin of error. Kasi po, obviously, kapag ang margin of error ay 5%, the confidence level is already 95%. So, we are computing, tama po kayo, when we do the Sloven's formula, we factor in the margin of error, not the confidence level. Kasi obvious naman na that your 5% is the margin of error. So, obviously, on the other hand, your confidence level is 95%. Okay po? Standard naman po in research. Alright. So, well, there are also other, sample size calculators like the Rausoft. However, the Rausoft, kapag kinompute nyo tong 5,000 sa using the Rausoft calculator, Rausoft is R-A-O-S-O-F-T, medyo iba po yung sagot niya, medyo may konting diferensya po. That's because the Rausoft calculator factors in other or has other factors taken into consideration. That's why the end answer, the end result is a little bit different from what you will get from your Sloven's formula. So, but either way, pwede naman po gamitin ng Rausoft. You'll just have to indicate in your paper that you have used the Rausoft calculator to compute for the sample size. Or if you have used the Sloven's formula, then you can always indicate in your paper that you have used the Sloven's formula. Just so that the panelists or that the readers will know bakit nagkaroon ng discrepancy. Kasi may mga readers na nagko-compute din. Alright. So, any other questions that you have? So, for the section 2 students, ito lang po yung lessons na gusto kong mahabol. So, thank you very much po for attending, So, na-track ko na rin naman po yung attendance ninyo. So, maraming salamat po to the section 2 students. Yes, Mr. Bendoy.
Ma'am, last lang po, for our exam, magdadala kami ng calculator.
Yes, opo. Magdadala po kayo ng calculator. You cannot use your cell phones. Ako po magbabantay sa inyo. So, I will be using one long classroom. So, cell phones are not allowed. Okay? Alright po. Thank you very much po. So, have a nice Sunday and yeah.
Happy Sunday po. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Salamat po. Happy Sunday po. Salamat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Prof. Thank you po.
Excuse me po, Prof.
Yes, question.
Excuse me, Prof. Regarding OFW exam, ma'am.
OFW examinations, you will be doing a live exam with me. Hindi po pwede na hindi live. Kailangan po live. I'm not going to upload it in the LMS, but we will be doing a live examination. So, naka-PowerPoint po yung exam ko, nakaharap kayo sa akin, camera on.
Alright, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Prof.
Thank
you, ma'am. Blessed Sunday po. Ingat po.
Ingat po.